So the next one we're gonna do is the gradient. So you kind of can control this one yourself because in reality it's however you want your yarn to look. So like I was saying earlier, this one starts with a yellow. So what I would do, just a quick music break, Dancing with the Fiber. Can you hear it still? No, okay. Okay, so we're gonna do the yellow. I think what I would do is stop it right before the yellow. So then that means the beginning of your repeat is always gonna have yellow in it. And because of the way they're dyed, you're always gonna have a little bit extra of maybe some purple, maybe some more pink, but that's okay. It's still hand painted. It's still gonna be beautiful no matter what you do. So, 1, right before the yellow in this peachy area, 2, 3, 4, I kind of got more pink in that one, that's okay. 5, and then 6. So as you'll see, one color end will have yellow and the other end will be more of the pinkish color. Some have a little extra. If it really, bothers you, you don't want to you want them to be exactly the same, you can just pull out those colors. But you see this is gonna make some really beautiful yarn and we're really excited about this color. Okay, so we have all of our color strips here. So the way you would spin these, it really depends on what you'd like. If you were to just take each of these and spin end to end, you would have longer color repeats because you have more fiber here. If you wanted shorter color repeats, you could split each one of these in half. If you wanted, basically, you can choose however you'd like it to be. The more fiber you have in a section of color, the longer your stripe's gonna be. So if you want short stripes, I would split these in half and then make sure that every time you grab your next strip though, you're starting from the same side. So here you have the yellow. Say we spin all this and then we grab our next strip. And it has a little bit of peach on top. You can pull that off if you want, but same thing, you can break these into however many strips you like, but you always want to start with the yellow, or if you started with the other side, but you just want to keep the same consistency because that's going to give you the same gradient and same repeat in your yarn. Yeah, I mean, you really can create whatever yarn you like. That's the best part about why we spin our own yarn. You are the master of your yarn destiny. But yeah, this is kind of just giving you the tools to create what you like. And yeah. So what we're doing now is we're going to spin, and we're going to give you a couple options on how you'd like to spin this gradient. So these are all our color strips, and I put them all together here. And if you spin them together, you'll have really nice long color block gradients, and it'll just be one repeat. There won't be multiple repeats. But the other way to spin it would be to spin each strip and consistently keep it in the same pattern, and then what you'll have is shorter color repeats, but it'll still gradiate into each other. And then when you chain ply it, they'll still gradiate when it becomes yarn, similar to the sample here, where there's clear stripes. I am gonna spin it in this big chunk because I think that would be really awesome, and I like to weave with yarn that is in gradients. So it's really whatever you're going to use it for, however you want your yarn to be. You are the master of your yarn. I do think it might be easier to spin from the strips, but if you're feeling adventurous, see, look, they all kind of just fell apart. But there is another way of doing this too, and it's breaking each color into its own little piece. And when you split these up, like this little color repeat here, I don't know if you can see this color, the small repeat here, you don't have to break it up into each one. I think it would be best if you broke it down the middle, because then you're not messing with any of these color repeats. So you'll have the main color on both sides in the same order that it was meant to be. So there's a little bit of pink, but mostly it's just the beige and the pink on the top. So one. I think it may be smart to keep these strips together in the way that they were, because it can get confusing. So you could keep loose, keep one end, well, however you want to do it. But you just remember the end that you pulled off of. It'd probably be the best to get like a hair tie or something and to cinch it closest to that end. Don't have anything, but you guys get it. Leave that there. And then once again, the fatter you spin or the heavier gauge you spin, the shorter your repeats will be, because you're using more yarn in your single. And then we're not going to ply these. These are going to get chain plied. So so if you think about the yarn you're spinning when you're doing your single, you kind of want to go on the finer side, because when you chain ply, it makes almost a 3-ply, so it's going to triple that size. And so it can get pretty chunky pretty fast. But unless you want that, you know, that's actually a nice way for people who have been spinning a long time and can't get that thicker yarn, you know, to try and spin a sport weight and chain ply it, and you have a super nice chunky yarn that's even bigger than worsted weight. And the nice thing when you break these up into pieces, that you don't have to be as controlling of what fiber gets pulled out of your hand first, because it's all basically the same color. When you have those long strips, it might pull out the next color faster than you'd like, and you have to be more careful. But these ones, you just spin away. Good TV spinning. You don't gotta pay attention. So you can see that, you know, these chunks of fiber are pretty big. So these color stripes are going to be quite big. So because we still have 4 more of these to go. So if you're someone who likes more frequent color change when they're spinning, keeps it more interesting. You know, gradient spinning is not necessarily as color satisfaction. I don't know what else to call it. You kind of stare at the same color for a little bit longer, but you know, it all depends on the yarn that you're trying to achieve. So I will spin through all these pinks that I've broken apart, and then I will go to the strips and basically break off the next color in the chain and spin through and then repeat, and then when we have our single, we'll chain ply it. And then when after we chain ply, you can see the nice gradient and how it creates a real nice chunky yarn too.